the kindness games.
First time.
Whoop, whoop.
Hi, everybody. I'm Robinette. I am here today with Tim Wenzel, and we are going to talk about an amazing concept that I am super excited about called the kindness games. And Tim is going to share a little bit of the backstory about it and why this is so awesome. So, Tim, great to see you today.
Yeah, good to be on with you. And I'm so excited that you're joining. I'm not going to take credit for it, though, because you really came by way of Natasha Ryan.
Yes, Natasha Ryan was awesome. She planted the bug in my ear, and I heard the concept, and I said, I've got to reach out. Tim and I've got to connect, and I got to learn more about this.
Nice. So the kindness games, we're about to come on a year, September of 2020. I was entering my second quarantine during COVID travel. And the first quarantine that I entered, the George Floyd incident happened and the United States erupted. And I was away from my family. I was kind of helpless to help them. And also, I was just forced to stay in a room and just take in all of this news as it unfolded. And so several months later, I am back in a hotel room looking at a 2-week quarantine. I turn on the TV, and this unrest, this hate and discontent is still going on. And I thought, like, I've had a crazy life, man. I've spent my 20s in Iraq. I have done, things, and been places that bother different people. I've never once felt depression. And yet, sitting down in this hotel room, I had to wonder to myself, how am I going to make it out of this? So I opened my computer. My friend Lee Oughton, who runs a security company in Mexico, recognized a young professional in his company for attending a professional development instance and working to better himself, which in turn will better the company. And I kind of laughed to myself and I said, that's a little bit ridiculous because we're supposed to make ourselves better, right? But it did make me laugh. And then it caused me to think about how that young professional must have felt. And so I said, Lee, why don't we do this every day? And he said, let's start tomorrow. And so the next day I jumped on video and I said this: why are Lee Oughton and I having a competition called the Kindness Games? It's because we've decided that maybe the best thing we can do to contribute good to this distressed world is by spreading kindness as ferociously as others are spreading discontent. And that's how it started. And now we are 11 months later. We have 78 participants now. And we have participants in every continent except for South America and our Antarctica. So that, in a nutshell, is the Kindness Games.
That's awesome, Tim. And I think, it's really amazing because when we think about, the security industry, whether it's law enforcement, military, private security, asset protections, it's all industries that a lot of times people think of as being these stone walls, lacking empathy, lacking vulnerability, out there. And we see it in a lot of other industries as well in public, sometimes. But I think, the Kindness Games just brings us that opportunity to start sharing recognition and recognizing people for just being who they are, whether that's, contributing or that's professional development that the individual you mentioned and Mexico went through, or a lot of times I've seen some of the shout outs people have done have just been people that have been influential in their life. It didn't even have to be a long friendship of long periods of time. It was somebody they had a meeting at a conference or something and made that much of an impact, in that one thing that changed their trajectory in a good way.
One of my favorite things to do is lift up young professionals that the industry at large don't quite know about yet, who are doing good work and are really looking to better themselves. I have called out people who are not in the industry. I've called out family members. I've called out friends that do not work in security. I've called out dead people from what they've taught us. I've called out celebrities or like people in the public spectrum that I don't know, but who have modeled kindness for us all. And really, just helping other people see the gratitude that other people have planted in their lives, I think it's a special thing.
It absolutely is. And I think one of the things you and I talked about when we talked just recently was around showing the vulnerability when we do this. putting yourselves out there on video, being vulnerable, sharing what our experiences and our journeys look like, and how that journey not only humbles us, but it also can inspire others that might be going through something similar. And my shout out today is definitely a journey that made an impact on me as well. And I can honestly say, if it wasn't for this person, I would not be on the same trajectory I'm on today, because they were definitely a part of that path.
Well, don't keep me hanging, man. Jump into it. Let's hear about this amazing.
Absolutely. We'll kick it off. So my first time shout out is going to go to Tristan Shields. So Tristan Shields, I've known him, and it shocked me when I realized today it's been 13 years I've known him, October 2008. And Tristan is, if anybody knows Tristan, he is this very laid back intellectual, is the best way I can describe him. He's not a super intense person, but he's super intelligent. And he truly is that definition of servant leadership. He genuinely cares about people in a real way, not just for, what they can do. And he wants to see people succeed. He wants to see the good in people and help. And Tristan was a real calming effect to me in my career, my life at that time, because back in 2008, I was on fire. Everything, I was running full tilt. I had something to prove to the world, and I was nothing was going to stop me. And I had this very aggressiveness to the way I approached things. And I will never forget, Tristan called me up at 6:30 in the evening. I just pulled into home, and calls me up out of nowhere. And he says, "Al," he goes, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm good. What's up?" He says, "Is your health okay?" "Yeah." "All right. Is your family okay?" "Yeah." Are your finances okay? Are you paying your bills?" I'm like, "What, am I about to get fired? What is this?" And he says, "Al, take a deep breath, relax." He goes, "We sell jeans. It's okay." And I got what he meant by that, because it wasn't trying to say our roles weren't important, but at that time in my life, everything was a fire drill. Everything was a 10 intensity. And when you led people that way, they didn't know what was really important if everything was important. Yeah. And, it was the way I was leading my team was causing that stress, but that was his way of helping me get that point. And 12 years later, I still remember that conversation like it was yesterday. I still remember being in that parking lot, taking that phone call. And, it stuck with me, and it started my journey of self-discovery of how do I be a better leader? How do I become more of that servant leader? How do I develop my emotional intelligence around that? So he was definitely a big influence along that journey. So this shout outs to Tristan. Thanks for being a part of the journey and helping me along the way.
That's awesome. That's a great story. And what a like a great person who knows how to influence, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
My shout out today is going to a young professional, Sonia Travi. I met Sonia at one of these GSXs. I can't remember which city it was, but I was teaching a workshop, and pretty soon the instructor, who also knew me in the CPP workshop, came out to find me and said, "Hey, at lunch, meet me here. I have to introduce you to somebody. She has questions that I know are right up your alley." And ever since, I have looked forward to seeing Sonia at the different industry conferences, at the different events. She has a thirst for knowledge, but she, at the same time, has a hunger for treating people well. She has modeled what it looks like to be a professional mother, a mother who is driving to establish herself in a professional capacity in a career, and how to balance that. And I actually can't think of a higher calling than that, right? And so, Sonia, this one's for you. I know when Lee Oughton called you out the other day, and I started to gush in a comment, and I said, "Wait a second, I'm going to type something way too long. I just need to do a post." And this post is for you. You brighten the world wherever you set your feet. And I appreciate you.
That's awesome. That's actually, is that a double shout out from you?
No, I would never shout out Lee Oughton, because he would hold it over my head. He'd be like, "See, bro, see?" Lee's my friend, man. Here's the funny thing. Lee and I are like best friends. We talk almost most days. I've never met him. We've met only during COVID.
The power of the virtual world.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's an awesome shout out too. And being a parent in any capacity is always a challenge in and of itself, and doing it in our security world and all the unexpectedness that can happen with what we do definitely throws another layer of difficulty there. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Al, welcome to the Kindness Games. I'm so excited to follow your journey.
It's going to be amazing.
And you're about to have a ton of super kind people reach out to you. So
no, that's awesome. Thank you. I look forward to it. It's a great community. It's a great group to be a part of. And I am so excited to go forward and see what kind of impact I can make with some true kindness and sharing out there.
Awesome. The Kindness Games out.